broken mind for the right words was no easy feat. If that were his only challenge, he'd have been grateful. But guilt, regret, and shame tormented him with every completed line. Of everything Sir Charles had accomplished in his 72 years, all would be forever tainted by one unfortunate incident 13 years prior. However, it wasn't the incident itself he was ashamed of, although he deeply regretted it. No, it were the years that followed, where he had ample chance to make amends. But he passed it up, for fear it would destroy everything he had worked so hard to build. Unlike the vintage port he used to sup, his secret had not improved with age. It mattered not. His letter would ensure the sins of the father would soon be passed to the son, in the hope he might be a better man and right his wrongs. He floundered for a moment, searching for a specific word to end a sentence, scouring his mind. Frustration mounted, and he gripped the pen hard in one hand, while the other balled into a fist. 3 heavy taps to his temple failed to dislodge the word. Whatever it was, the word was gone. He returned the nib to the end of the sentence and completed it with the best alternative his mind could summon. He ended with what he hoped was a sincere apology and signed his name. The letter was complete, but he felt no better for it. He never really thought he would. He then tucked the letter into the pewter trinket box, along with the photograph and the tattered certificate. 3 pieces of a jigsaw, conveniently sorted for his son to piece together. Closing the lid, Sir Charles sat back in his chair, while keeping his gaze fixed on the pewter box. Seconds passed, and he could already feel his mind drifting away from the contents and the possible implications once his son read the letter. Perhaps no bad thing. A sudden knock on the study door startled him. His head snapped up as the door creaked open, and a middle-aged woman stepped into the study. She looked as haggard as she probably felt. "Everything okay, Sir Charles?" Originally employed as a housekeeper, Lizzie had, somehow, become Sir Charles's full-time carer. Having previously worked as a nurse, she was more than qualified for the role, but it wasn't exactly a career move of choice. Lizzie's decision was born of necessity. Almost 4 years had passed since her husband had died, unexpectedly, bequeathing Lizzie a mountain of debt. Despite her best efforts, the bailiffs eventually came calling, and the marital home was duly repossessed. The only reason she'd taken the job at Handsworth Hall was the accompanying offer of staff accommodation. At the time, the offer was a blessing, but she soon realized her subsidized home was a curse. Too much of her modest pay went on servicing debts, so, while she continued to diligently save every precious pound, Lizzie remained trapped. "Pour me a brandy," Sir Charles ordered. Lizzie paced over to the desk and took a seat on an oak chair opposite her employer. She paused for a moment as she studied the old man's wizened features. His face was almost skeletal now. On account, he frequently forgot to eat the meals she'd prepared for him. Her attempts to remind him had been met with hostility. The once erudite and witty charmer, now a confused and temperamental curmudgeon. Lizzie knew Sir Charles wasn't long for this earth, but she needed him to hang on for at least a few more paydays. By then, she hoped her savings would be sufficiently bolstered to allow an escape. Now, she replied, her tone almost maternal. "You know you can't take alcohol with your medication. Can I get you a cup of cocoa instead?" "No. Take a letter for me." Lizzie closed her eyes and counted to 5. Sir Charles didn't appear to notice or care, and began his dictation. "Dear Margaret, firstly, I understand Dennis has been unwell recently. Please pass on my wishes for a speedy recovery." Lizzie opened her eyes and leant across the desk. This wasn't the first time Sir Charles had regressed to his days as a government minister. 2 years had passed since he was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, bringing the curtain down on Sir Charles's 40 years.